Hello, I'm at the edge of Loch Linney. It's looking absolutely stunning today. We've got Ben Nevis in the background there, which has no cloud on it. So great day if you're up there walking. We've got some errands to run in Fort William today, a bit of shopping to pick up, and then we're going to take our bikes and take the Great Glen way up to Loch Lochy. We're going to join the route from Neptune Staircase, so hopefully be a great ride up there. I've been looking at Google Maps and I think the start of Loch Lochy is going to be a brilliant photo opportunity for my end papers. So we'll head on up there and see what we can see. No, the other side! Fort William is well known for its mountain biking, hosting lots of races including the Downhill World Cup. But if you're anything like me and prefer something a little less extreme, the Great Glen Way is a much gentler option. There's a bit of a climb at the start as you pass Neptune Staircase, but once you reach the top you'll find a long, peaceful stretch of completely flat towpath. As we were passing the locks, there was a lockkeeper working there with their dog, and I have to admit, it genuinely had me looking up lockkeeper jobs when I got home. Although it might feel slightly less romantic when it's pouring with rain, which being Scotland happens a lot. As I said, from Neptune Staircase onwards, the path is basically completely flat, and it's such a lovely place to cycle. The gravel track is nice and wide, with a grassy verge along the edge, so you never really feel like you're about to fall in the canal. I've been on another canal path before, where I spent the entire ride worrying I was going to wobble the wrong way and end up in the water, so I'm glad it wasn't like that here. We were also incredibly lucky with the weather. It was pretty much the perfect temperature for cycling. Warm enough that I was happy in shorts, which says a lot because I only wear them if it's properly warm. But then it wasn't so hot that you turned into a sweaty mess. The path between Neptune Staircase and Gairlochie is about 6.5 miles. And it took us roughly half an hour at a gentle pace. The canal itself is known as the Caledonian Canal. It runs from Fort William to Inverness, stretching about 60 miles, and passing through 4 lochs along the way, which makes it Scotland's longest inland waterway. It was originally built so ships could travel safely to the North Sea, avoiding the dangerous waters through the Pentland Firth and around Cape Wrath. These days it's actually a scheduled monument. One thing I really loved along the canal was all the signage. Everything seems to have brilliant names, like these Lois sluices. Once you get away from Neptune's staircase, the path becomes much quieter. Although it's still nice to see other people enjoying the canal, cyclists, walkers, and a few boats out on the water. At certain points you realise that you're cycling with the canal on one side and the River Lochie just below you on the other. It's quite a strange feeling being right in the middle of the two. When you reach the road at Lochie, the Great Glen Way crosses the canal and continues along the opposite side of Loch Lochie. But because I wanted to visit the lighthouse, we stayed on the right hand side and followed a much narrower path to the foot of the loch. At one point we spotted this wee trawler heading down the canal, which felt slightly bizarre. Most of the boats here were sailing boats or yachts, so it looked a little out of place. It was quite suspenseful waiting to catch our first glimpse of the lighthouse. Unfortunately, someone had left their pram right at the foot of the lighthouse, which slightly ruined the photo I had in mind. So you'll have to wait until the end to see whether I managed to get a decent enough shot for my sketchbook end papers. The lighthouse itself is absolutely adorable. I once saw Scottish Highlands describe it as a pepper pot lighthouse, which honestly feels like the perfect description. On the way back, we started noticing these incredible views of the north face of Ben Nevis in the distance, although I imagine it's not always quite this clear. We also found the perfect spot for a biscuit stop. It was so nice just sitting for a while, soaking up the peaceful atmosphere and watching the butterflies dancing over the water. And while we're here, I should probably explain the name Loch Lochie, because it does slightly sound like someone ran out of ideas. It actually comes from the Gaelic Loch Lochie, meaning place of dark water, which makes sense when you realise it's Scotland's third deepest loch. Honestly hard to describe just how beautiful this stretch of canal is. The countryside is unbelievably green and lush, and the water moves along so gently beside you. I think this might genuinely have been the best bike ride I've ever had. I'd honestly do it again. Once we arrived back at Neptune's staircase, we decided we'd definitely earned an ice cream. Luckily, there just so happened to be the perfect little shop. we got back, the beautiful local stag was grazing quietly in the paddock. It's always such a lovely sight to witness. One of those small moments that makes you stop and take it all in. Inspired by my bike ride along the canal, and excited to use the photographic end papers I had got printed, I decided it was the perfect time to make a new sketchbook. The book blocks can be a little repetitive, as I tend to make them in small batches, folding the signatures, piercing the holes, stitching everything together, and then pressing and gluing the spine. But once that's done, the fun really begins. Designing the cover is where I can be more creative and give each book its own character. Are you up to? Hey, can say hello? Can say hello? Say hello to everyone. Hey, little Stanley. Little Stanley, aren't you? Hey, what are you up to? Is it no good? Ugh. Is it no good? Yeah, we don't need your help though, do we? Hey, don't need your help, do we? I know. What are you up to, eh? What are you up to? No good. No good, eh? Come on then. Wee, off we go. Stanley is our family dog. He's a white-haired dachshund, and quite possibly the most characterful dog I've ever known. It's lovely having him hanging around while I'm working, although he can be rather demanding when he decides it's time for attention. But anyway, back to the books. The paper I'm using here is a beautiful handmade pomegranate fern paper from a small company in the UK. It has such lovely texture and works perfectly for book covers. I did briefly try and make my own paper last year, but I could never quite get the pulp to lift off the screen properly. I don't think I got the consistency right, and after a few frustrating attempts, I may have, rather dramatically, abandoned the whole idea. I do sometimes have the tendency to fall into the mindset of, if it's not perfect on the first try, go in a bit of a huff and give up. Not exactly TED Talk material, is it? Anyway, the cover is finished, which means it's time for the slightly nerve-wracking part, gluing the book block into place. The end papers are already attached to the block. Some people glue the entire outer page and close the cover onto it, but I find that can make the paper a bit too soggy. Instead, I apply most of the glue to the grey board cover and just a thin layer along the outer edge of the end papers. It seems to work well for me, although I still get a little nervous that I'm about to ruin everything at this stage. Once everything is in place, I sandwich the book into the press and leave it overnight for the glue to dry. And now for the end paper reveal. It was a slightly different angle of the lighthouse than what I originally had in mind, but I actually think it works better. So this is a blank mixed media sketchbook, with pages made from recycled coffee cups, which is a lovely surface for pens, pencils and paints. If you'd like to see my available notebooks and sketchbooks, they're all listed on my website, the link to which is in the video description. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a comment, and hit subscribe if you'd like to see more. See you soon!